All right, all right, all right. Power belongs to God. You just remember that there's nothing too hard for God. It may look tough right now for you. It may be very difficult for you. As a matter of fact, it may just seem like an impossible situation for you. But if you just trust and believe God, and just cast your care upon him. God is able to fix it. He's able to bring you through it. Just Denise, good morning to you. God bless you. Um, all of you that are uh, uh, greeting us this morning. Let me say, if I miss you, I apologize. I don't do it purposely, but sometimes some things come through so fast. I have a tendency to miss people every now and then. But if I miss you, a special good morning to you as well. I see here in the chat box, congratulatory messages are going out to Lachelle Slaughter. I understand she completed a coding class. If that's correct, Sister Lachelle, let me take this opportunity to congratulate you. Praise God. Let me say I'm happy for you and also proud of you. Proud of you for doing what you've done, for accomplishing what you've just accomplished. Um, Everything that we're able to accomplish, it should be celebrated. I just believe it should be celebrated, and we're going to celebrate you here on Morning Mocha. If I find out about it, I'm going to celebrate you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, my wonderful brother and friend, Bishop Charles Carrington Jr. God bless you, man. Life Builders Church in Baltimore, Maryland. Wonderful friend and brother of mine, and we're looking forward to having him back on with us again to share with us. And I haven't even asked him; I just told him just then when I just said that, so he can expect a phone call from me. That's how we do each other. It's okay. He'll be fine with that. That's the way friends and brothers do. Again, God bless all of you. Thank you for joining us once again this morning. Any of you that may be joining us for the very first time, um, please, if you have not yet done so, take the time to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the notifications. I can't emphasize that enough, how important it is for you to turn on the notifications so that you'll be notified the moment we go live. I want you to be notified the very moment we go live so you can join us at the beginning of our morning mocha session and not just in the middle, because I don't want you to miss anything that God may be speaking to me to share with you. You know, sometimes I just kind of go off the cuff, and it's really not off the cuff because I'm being led by the Spirit of the Lord, and there are certain things that God would have me to share with you that are very, very important at the time, and I don't want you to miss it. Also, let me encourage all of you to continuously share this link with your friends, family members, neighbors, co-workers, whomever you feel like might be able to be blessed by what's being shared on this platform. My objective is to be a blessing to others. I desire so much to do whatever I can to help add value um, to other people. And if that value comes by way of sharing wisdom from the Word of God, then so be it. Whatever way we can get it to you, that's what I want to do. I'm just a tool. I'm just a vessel. I'm just an instrument to be used of God. Let me also say again, those of you that may be joining us for the very first time, you don't have to be shy about getting involved in the discussion. There's a great deal of discussion that goes on even while I'm sharing through this platform. The discussion goes on through the chat box, through the chat room, whatever it's called. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And you're more than welcome to post comments. We just ask that everyone would be respectful of one another. And certainly, I humbly ask you to be respectful of your host. All right. Yours truly. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. But again, real quickly, I just want those of you that are listening to just be encouraged, be encouraged. Let me make this particular announcement regretfully. Our drummer, uh, known as Doc, that's the best I can give you right now. A drummer for Canaan Worship Center. He lost his mother. His mother passed away on yesterday, I understand. And certainly we are praying for him. And I ask that you all would join me in praying for Doc and his family, that God would give him strength through such a difficult time. Some of you can recall it hasn't been that long ago since he lost his brother. And I know this has to be a difficult time for him, but we want him to know that we are praying for him. We are praying for him in this difficult, most difficult time. And I know that many of you also are dealing with family members who may be dealing with the virus or whatever sickness that may be upon them. As a matter of fact, we solicit your prayers for my mother's sister, my aunt. She's been hospitalized, and she's having some health challenges, and we want to lift her up in prayer as well. I certainly don't want to remember everybody else's family and forget my own. So my mom's sister Betty Cubey, she's dealing with some health challenges, and last I heard that she is yet in the hospital. So pray for our family as well. My mom's sister, we want to lift her up in prayer. So God bless you again. If you have family members, relatives, whatever that you desire for us to pray for and pray with, just let us know, and we'll certainly be in prayer for those individuals. I love how things are done here on Morning Mocha, because when those notices are posted, many of you immediately begin to respond and letting um, us know that you are praying for the individual who's going through some difficult times. Um, at any given time, and I just love that. I appreciate that. That's biblical stuff like that right there, because the Bible tells us to pray one for another. you know um, the Bible tells us to rejoice with one another, to cry with one another. In other words, we ought to be able to feel what one another, what each of us, when we're going through things, the each of us should be able to feel what the other is going through, or at least be able to relate to the degree that you show compassion for that individual. So, again, please, 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 please keep lifting one another up in prayer. All right. I think I'm going to get right into what I want to share with you today. I want to encourage you in terms of being persistent in your pursuits, being persistent in your pursuits. And the way you do that, you have to come to appreciate the fact that small victories lead to great accomplishments. I want to say that again. Small victories lead to great accomplishments. Let me ask you this question. And I often throw out a question to you because I'm trying to provoke thought. I'm trying to get you to consider some things. How many of you aspire to do great things in and with your life? Do you really aspire to do great things in and with your life? Now, I know many of you probably haven't given it much consideration, if any at all, because of the fact that some of you um, think yourselves not to be qualified or in the position, if you will, to do great things. Um, Gay Calhoun, I got your prayer request. Keep your daughter Kim Lewis in prayer. Also, we will be lifting up Kim. That happens to be my cousin. Um, Gay Calhoun is my aunt who lives in Wichita, Kansas. She's with us every morning here on Morning Mocha. And we certainly want to lift up Kim in prayer. Again, I told you I can't think about everybody else's family and not think about my own. And so certainly I'm lifting up uh, my cousin Kim, and I ask you all that you would do the same as well. My first cousin, praise God. All right. But again, some people just think themselves not to be in the position to do great things. Some people think that they have to be a part of a certain organization, or they have to have a certain name notoriety, or they have to have a certain level of education in order to do great things. All of us are candidates, and we have the potential to do great things in and with our lives. Now, I know that nowadays the word great, it's overworked, it's overused, and thrown around very, very loosely. The word has been applied to so many things that wherein traditionally it has been applied to that which is exceptional or high above average. But lately, the overuse of the word has diminished its intended meaning or impact of its description. And so now, when people refer to something being great, a lot of times people question uh, as as to whether or not this thing that is being described as great is really all that great. Yeah, it makes you stop, and people start to analyze what's being referred to as being great and start to question, well, what makes that so great? Um, but regardless as to how the word is presently being used, there are people who yet aspire to greatness. There are people who truly desire to do great things in and with their lives. The reality is, there are some people who are of the conviction that anyone who aspires to greatness, think about this, anyone who aspires to greatness do so for selfish reason. Now, why people think that is beyond me. I totally do not understand. They think that people who aspire to greatness do so out of spirit of vanity, but that is not necessarily the case. Everyone that wants to do great things doesn't have that aspiration to do great things out of the wrong motives. Some people who desire to do great things in and with their lives have very pure motives for doing great things. Now, yeah, vanity, that spirit of vanity, it may apply to some people, but not to all people who aspire to be great. Some people, some people aspire to do great things for the sake of serving humanity. And I think that's one of the best reasons why individuals ought to desire to do great things. I want to do great things because I want to help people. That's what we ought to be saying to ourselves. I want to be a blessing to others. I want to do something extraordinary for someone else that will so enrich or enhance the lives of hurting people, or people who just simply need a helping hand to get ahead in life. These type of people that want to do great things, to be a blessing to others, to serve humanity, apparently their heart is in the right place and their motives are pure. And so when you decide in your heart, when there's a passion in your heart to where you say, I want to do great things, the first thing you need to do is check to make sure that your motives are pure, that your heart is in the right place, that you're not just seeking fame and fortune. That's not your primary motive. Now, there's nothing wrong with you doing something that is going to result in you being personally blessed. That's fine. That's okay. As a matter of fact, I believe that when your heart and your motives are pure, you will be blessed in return when you're choosing to be a blessing to someone else. That's simply the application of the law of sowing and reaping. Whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap. And so when you desire to be a blessing to others, you will find that eventually someone is going to come along and desire to be a blessing to you. And the truth may be that someone has already been a blessing to you and help you to position yourself in a place where you now can be a blessing to someone else. What a wonderful position to be in. What a wonderful place to be, in a place where you've been so blessed by others that now you can turn and be a blessing to those who need a helping hand. That's a wonderful situation to be in. Now, I know in many cases, um, there are numbers of people who are doing great things in obscurity. And that's okay because of the fact that they're not looking to be famous. Their names are not going to be called. Please understand. And let me say this. Let me say this once again. If you're looking to do things, or if you're motivated to do things by uh, the potential or the possibility of receiving accolades of praise, then you have the wrong motive, and I guarantee you, you won't last long in doing what you say you have a passion to do, because when the praise doesn't come, you're going to become discouraged. And once you become discouraged, eventually you're going to throw in the towel. And wherein you had the potential to do awesome and great things, you'll come short of that goal simply because you don't receive the praises and the accolades that you think you should receive. One of the things that uh, yet has my mind boggled in terms of people who work in ministry. I've never seen uh, in my lifetime so many people nowadays who are more motivated by their name being publicly called than they are by just their pure desire to be a blessing to others. Man, it's hard to pastor nowadays. Pastoring is a difficult proposition, depending on the type of people in the congregation. If you have to pastor people, if a pastor has to pastor people that constantly need to be pumped and praised just in order to get a simple thing done, it's going to be difficult for that pastor. I am a living witness, because the minute you forget to call someone's name publicly, um, they're going to get offended. They're going to get upset. And some of them will leave the church. I am not making this up. This is absolutely true. And some of you know it to be true because you've had family and friends leave churches for those very reasons. Well, he didn't call my name. He didn't say thank you to me. And he has his picks and chooses and everything. I question people all the time. What are your motives for really serving? Who are you really trying to please? As long as God knows that you're doing what you're doing out of a pure heart, it shouldn't matter whether or not someone else says thank you to you publicly. Okay. It shouldn't matter whether or not someone says to you, you've done a good job publicly. And again, when these things happen, because we know they do happen, sometimes they happen out of pure innocence. That leader does not mean to overlook anyone, but they get so caught up and have so many things running through their minds that they just forget. They just overlook things. I can't tell you the number of times that I've left service, and the minute we've gotten into the car, I've turned the lady in and I said, man, I forgot to mention this. I forgot to say this. I forgot to thank this person for that. And some of you may not know that when I've done that, I've personally picked up the phone and called whatever individual, if I had a way to reach them, and tell me, you know what, I am so sorry. I forgot to mention and thank you publicly for the work that you've done. But I'm telling y'all, that's a lot of work for me to have to do this. Yeah, those that work with me know. My administrative assistant, Lady Ann, some of those that serve as my assistant, assisting me on Sunday mornings, security people and all that. They know if you don't hand it to me on a note, then I will forget. I stopped trying to commit things to memory because I understand. I know I'm not as young as I used to be. And furthermore, I've got more things coming at me and more things on my mind than ever before. And so if I wound up, and I'm just sharing this because I know there's a lot of pastors who experience this, who fall in this into this category. If I wound up overlooking someone or failing to mention something about someone, it's not because I do it intentionally. It's simply because, it just, you know, uh, uh, slipped my mind. That's the word. um, uh, I hear my administrative assistant. She said he sure will. I'll forget. Again, she knows nothing personal, but those things just kind of slipped my mind. But again, let me encourage you not to be that person that will quit or throw in the towel simply because you're not receiving public or personal praise. You know, um, you've got to continue to do things based on the passion that you have for being a blessing to other people. Now, I must have you to understand that those who aspire to do great things must also know that they're going to be faced with some unavoidable challenges in life. There will be difficulties. There will be naysayers. There will be obstacles to overcome and roadblocks to work around. Know that. You're going to have to deal with situations. You're going to have to deal with people who oppose you, people who are jealous of you, people who are dream killers, vision killers. You're going to have to deal with all that. People who just don't like you, people who have no confidence in you. And I'm telling you, if you listen to the noise of people, you will never accomplish anything great unless you take that noise and use it as a motivator to push you into doing what you really desire to do, what you really need to do. One of the worst things that a person can tell me is that I can't do something. And the minute a person tells me that I can't do something when I've already decided that I can, all they're doing is adding fuel to my fire. They're causing my passion to burn more intently because now some of you might think this might be the wrong motive, but because now when you've told me that I can't do something, I've got to go about proving you wrong. That's not my primary motive for doing what I'm doing, but it just adds fuel to those fires. It adds fuel to that passion of me wanting to do something that will leave an imprint and an impact on the lives of those I have the opportunity to serve. You got to be able to know when difficult situations are being thrown at you. You've got to understand the spirit behind the naysayers, and you've got to be able to identify whatever obstacles or roadblocks that you may encounter in life. When you can do that, you can navigate around those things. You can shut your ears to the noise of the naysayers. You can just position yourself and poise yourself to continuously strengthen yourself to be able to go around or go over whatever roadblocks or obstacles that are standing in your way. Achieving greatness is never easy. And I guarantee you that most people that ultimately achieve greatness at some point just want to give up on what they're attempting to do. I think it comes with the territory. If you've never felt like giving up on something that you had a passion for, then obviously you're not doing anything that is really worth anything. Why do I say that? Because again, for some reason or another, and you just think about it. Think about some of the things that you really, really wanted to do and how many roadblocks and obstacles started popping up the minute you made up your mind that you're going to get this done. Why? Your enemy, your spiritual enemy wants to create roadblocks that will keep you from doing great things. And let me say this is the reason why. It is because that people who have covenant connection with God primarily want to do the things that please God and that would honor him. And our enemy, the devil, Satan, does not want us to accomplish those things that we have in our heart that God has ordained. Sometimes you need to just think about it. Stop thinking in terms of people are just always picking on me. Sometimes they are attacking the dream and the vision that God has placed in your heart and in your spirit because they know, the enemies know, that what God has placed in your heart and in your spirit and given you a passion for, it will be a blessing to other people. And ultimately, what you do will honor God. That ought to be the desire of every last one of us, that whatever I do, it should honor God. My desire should be that it would honor God. My desire should be that it would be a blessing to other people. Now, I understand that the word great is a relative term. In other words, the term or the word great is primarily based on an individual's perspective on whatever is being said. I realize that. What may be considered as great by one may not be so great to another, depending on the perspective of the individual. That's the reason why it is important that you know your purpose, that you be driven by your passion, and refuse to allow anyone to maximize what you believe to be what you were born to do. Don't allow anybody to minimize that, rather. Don't allow anyone to minimize what you believe to be what you have been born to do. Some people will downplay your purpose, the purpose that God has placed on you. They will criticize it. They will minimize it. They will say, "Oh, that's nothing." Well, it may be nothing to them, but it is of great importance and great significance to you. Now, I hope you've been paying attention here, because as I've been walking through this, I've been somewhat sharing with you the many little battles that you may have to fight while you're trying to achieve greatness. But know this: as you're fighting those battles, every little victory that you gain, every little victory that you win is putting you one step closer to you achieving great things in your life. It gets you closer and closer and closer. And every time you have a victory, a small victory, the first thing you need to do is stop and celebrate. Celebrate that victory. And in celebrating that victory, don't you take the credit for yourself, but you give God the glory for bringing you through this small victory. The question on some of your minds may be, so what does it take to achieve greatness? Achieving greatness, please understand this, is a process. It never comes instantaneously. It only comes through process. I've often heard people refer to successful people as overnight successes, but success doesn't happen overnight. It happens over many nights. I want you to catch that. Stop thinking that you're going to be an overnight success, that you're going to immediately be successful in whatever you are attempting to do, especially if you're desiring to achieve greatness in and through your life. It doesn't happen overnight. And while I'm talking about a process, while you're in the process, you have to learn to be patient with the process. One of the reasons why some people never achieve anything they set out to do is because they are impatient. They don't want to go through the process. Let me urge you also to don't focus on what someone else is doing. Don't focus on what someone else is accomplishing, especially if it's going to cause you to become so distracted that you become frustrated and you stop giving energy, time, attention to what you really need to get done in your life yourself. Stop focusing on other people. If you don't take anything else away from this session this morning, those of you that are right now in the process of trying to do great things, whatever that great thing to you may be, it may be starting a business, it may be getting through a course in school, it may be completing your degree, earning your degree, whatever that may be. It may be trying to build or rebuild your family relationship. Don't minimize anything that you desire to do just because someone else may not think it's great. But if that's what you're in the process of doing, don't focus so much on other people or what's occurring in their lives, but you focus on what you need to do. Keep your head on straight. Keep your heart encouraged by continuously encouraging yourself. When you make small accomplishments, again, celebrate those accomplishments. Thanks God for your ability to achieve what you have achieved, and then move on to the next thing. If for instance, if you're in school, those of you that may be going to school right now, I know I was one when I was in school. I would just flip out if my grade wasn't what I thought it should be. My grade for any particular class, if I thought it was lower than what it should have been, I would just totally flip out. I would flip out simply because I didn't achieve what I was striving for, which was perfection. In other words, if I didn't get an A, man, it was almost as though I had failed the class. And that was the wrong attitude. That was the wrong approach. Since I was able to pass the class, since I was able to meet the requirements and did so often above average, I should have celebrated, that accomplishment. And again, it took my administrative assistant saying something to me that gave me a whole different perspective on those letter grades that I received for each of my classes. When she said to me, Pastor, your GPA or your grades are not going to be on that degree. When you've finished getting that degree, when you've accomplished earning that degree, it's going to say that you met the requirements and you did it successfully. And once I allowed that to settle, I'm going to be honest with you. When she first said it to me, I was like, whatever. And I was saying to myself, you're not the one going to class, and you ain't the one writing all these papers, and you ain't the one spending late night up and everything. I work hard. I want an A in every class. I'm telling you, I'm just being honest. That's what I was thinking. I didn't say it to her, but I was thinking, and I probably had a look on my face that was saying it to her. And because she'd been working for me for so long, she probably recognized that look on my face because I kind of gave her that eye, like, really? Okay, whatever. That sounds nice and flowery and good for you to say. That's easy for you to say. But when I sat back and I thought about that thing, I said, she's right. I started to look at my grade and I said, okay, so what? It's not an A, but it's a B. It's a B plus. At least it's not a D. At least it's not an F. I'm going to celebrate that I was able to successfully pass this class. But now, watch this. I'm motivated to work it even harder, to dig in even deeper, and to definitely do better. And when I affix my mind to do that, now uh, I'm improving because I know what I need to do. I feel like I know what I need to do to make this situation a bit better. And since I've come to that conclusion, this small victory is now catapulting me and positioning me to now be victorious with the next thing that I attempt to do. Small victories lead to great accomplishments. If I had stopped, if I had to become so frustrated with those B's, or I didn't get very many of them, I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. I think I may have gotten maybe 3 B's that I can remember throughout my entire college education career over the 20-year span that I was in school. Yeah, some people said that I may have been a slow learner since it took me that long, but I think I may have gotten 3 B's, 4 at the most. And that's pretty good, having taken more than almost 200 hours worth of class time. You know, that's pretty good. But if I had allowed those B's to totally discourage me, I would have never completed earning the degrees that I now possess. Now, I'm not bragging about the degrees that I have. No, 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 no. I'm not bragging. Now, I do thank God that I was able to accomplish those things, but I'm not sharing with you to brag about it. I'm just trying to share with you the process. There are going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs, there's going to be some small victories, there's going to be some great victories. Now, it's easy for us to celebrate what we deem to be great victories, but you got to learn how to celebrate the small victories. Some people make the mistake of convincing themselves that they're going to be instant successors. They think they have to start off at the top. That's not necessarily true. Start where you are and continuously work your way up. One victory after another. One small accomplishment after another. Here's what you got to remember. You got to start somewhere. I often tell people when it comes to doing certain things, especially those that are aspiring to be employed by a certain company or corporation, you got to start somewhere. Get your foot in the door. Some people want to start at the top. Well, I want to start off here. I want to start off in management. Sometimes, even though you may have the credentials, you have to be willing to start off on the ground floor. You got to just get your foot in the door. Because getting your foot in the door, that's an accomplishment within itself. I remember when I went to work for Southwestern Bell, when they called me and told me initially what position they had open that they were willing to offer me, I said, yeah, I'll take it. Didn't pay very much, but I was willing to take it. Why? Because I wanted to get my foot in the door. And watch this. Before I started my first day of work, before I ever reported to Southwestern Bell for my first day of work, they called me back and they said, we have another position that has opened up that we want to offer you that pays a little more than the previous position that we offered you. How do you feel about that? I'll take it. Yes, I'll take it. You notice the pattern here? I took what I could, got my foot in the door, celebrated that small victory, and even before I got in the place that I was initially offered, I already got a promotion, if you will. See, here's what you got to understand. Uh, anytime you despise small beginnings, you are thereby undermining your potential to be great or to do great things. Why? Because you're too high-minded. And high-minded people have exalted themselves. And the Bible tells us that when we exalt ourselves, we will be brought low. But when we humble ourselves, then God will exalt you. Your appreciation for small accomplishments demonstrate that you are ready to achieve great things. So many people fail the test of promotion by not appreciating what they have been able to accomplish to that present point in their life. Again, they despise small beginnings. They despise small accomplishments, or what we would deem as baby steps. It's often been said that you have to crawl before you walk. You have to walk before you run. And I believe that's with just about anything in life. Now, I know some of you will tell me, well, I know people who did this and they had immediate success. Well, they may have been the benefactor of someone else's success, but their immediate success wasn't necessarily based on what they did alone. They may have been immediately placed in a position to succeed right away, but know that that came over time through someone else's efforts. And some of us have just been blessed at times just to get in the flow of something that's already going. But know this, even when you get in the flow of something that's already going, ultimately you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to do something to keep that thing going. And know this, when you get in that flow, you're not going to experience success on the level that others have experienced who came in before you. You know, you're not going to experience that same level of success that they are presently living or walking in. It's going to take some time for you to even now build up to that level. But wherever you come in, whatever level of success you are experiencing, again, it is so important that you appreciate those things. The things that you have to overcome to get to the next level. Don't despise those small victories that you experience in your life. I truly believe that sometimes we despise the small victories because we have a selfish spirit. We have an arrogant spirit. That may be the reason for it. Sometimes we could be possibly operating out of a proud spirit, that spirit of pride. And you know what happens when a person starts operating out of a spirit of pride? Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Learn. I can't say this enough. Humble yourself. Learn to humble yourself. Thank God for the small things. Thank God for the small victories. Never despise your small beginnings. God will exalt you in due time. If you aspire to do great things, if you aspire to do great things, then you must have the right motive. You must humble yourself and allow God to do the exalting. Allow God to lift you up. Allow God to position you and empower you to accomplish the things that you desire to accomplish. And what does that mean? That means putting God first in your life, making God a priority in your life. Don't ever place your career goals over your covenant connection with God. Don't substitute your career success for your covenant connection with God. In other words, I'm going to throw myself into my work to the degree that now I don't have time for worship. When you're doing that, you're literally setting yourself up for failure. Now, some people might say, well, that's not necessarily true, because there are people that are making money and doing well who never go to church. They used to go to church, but they don't go to church anymore. They don't do all that worship and stuff and everything. Listen, success comes in more forms than just money. There are people who are making tons of money. But while they're doing that, they are sacrificing their families, their covenant connection with God. They're sacrificing these things on the altars of their careers. And ultimately, they wound up being a failure because they have not properly prioritized things. And at some point, their lives begin to crumble under their feet. You've heard that phrase, easy come, easy go. There is some truth in that, especially if you don't approach things with the right spirit, if you don't have the right motives, if your heart is not pure, if you can't appreciate the small things in life, then it's going to be very difficult for you to accomplish great things in life. And let me just urge you in one more area. As you're aspiring to do great things, don't allow your motive simply to be to make your name great. That's a sad mistake right there. Anytime you're just aspiring to make your name great, then once again, you have the wrong motives. Sometimes people want to be well known and popular, but being well known and popular is not always what it's chalked up to be. Some people who have become so well known and popular, they, to a great degree, lose their lives because they can't go anywhere without being disturbed by people. People are always trying to get an opportunity to peer into that individual's life, to disrupt their life in one way or another, or to find weak spots in that individual's life so they can exploit those weak spots, expose it to other people, and show the world that this person is not all cracked up to be who they say they are. It is so true, Sister Tish. There is a price that must be paid. So be careful what you ask for. Be careful as to what you go after. Keep your motives in check. Keep your heart pure before God. And I guarantee you, if you do that, God will bless you. He will empower you to accomplish whatever it is you desire to accomplish, so long as it is within the will of God. That's all I have for today. That's all I have for today. Thank you guys for indulging me once again. I hope and pray that this has been a blessing to you. I hope it's at least giving you something to think about. I hope it allows you to put your motives in proper perspective and place your priorities properly in your life, align them properly for your life. And at the top of that priority list should be cultivating and appreciating your covenant connection with God. Don't ever leave God out of anything that you attempt to do. I urge you not to do that. Because the moment you do, because of who you profess to be, you're setting yourself up for failure. God bless y'all. God bless you. God bless you. Love you so much. Again, thank you for joining us. If you've joined us for the very first time and you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then share this with others. And then turn on your notifications once you subscribe to the channel. I look forward to being back with you all tomorrow morning. But as I often say, my desire and prayer for you is that you would have a blessed, wonderful, and prosperous rest of your day. God bless.